Hey guys, so I'm going to show you a video actually that's coming up that we shot just a couple of days ago, and it actually deals with Varroa mites. So the reason I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a heads up is I'm a new beekeeper and I'm still learning a lot of things, you know, every day actually when it comes to keeping bees, and so I actually pronounced the word Varroa mites incorrectly, and then not only that, I made a huge error when I dumped out my first frame of bees and actually didn't bother checking for the queen, which is a huge mistake. So fortunately I went back into the hives and did identify the queen on the frame, so we knew that we hadn't dumped her out, but I just knew I couldn't sleep at night if I'd accidentally done that and covered her with sugar. So the video coming up is actually going to be how to test for Varroa mites, and it's not a case of, you know, if you're going to get them, it's when you're going to get them and in what kind of numbers. And of course it varies from region to region in you know, everywhere basically. So there you go, and yeah. So we're going to start by putting about 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar into a mason jar. And then what you want to do is you want to take a frame of bees that have brood on it. So not actually a frame that's being filled out with honey. And the reason being is because the frame that has the brood on it has mostly nurse bees which are attending to the brood. And because the nurse bees spend more time in the hive and actually don't really kind of fly outside of the hive, they're the ones that are more susceptible to actually have the mites on them. And so you actually get a better mite count when you shake off the bees into the box here. Right, so this is the first time I've done this. 300 bees apparently in the box. There you go. Then we want to put these into one corner. And we're going to scoop up after the bees. Okay, so that's about half a cup. Then the rest of the bees you actually want to put back into the hive. And we're going to put the lid on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just gently shake the bees and coat them in the sugar. So this doesn't hurt them, just do it quite gently. And you can see, yeah, they don't particularly like it, but the great thing about this is when you put the bees back into the hive, they will become the life and soul of the hive, because all of the other bees will start licking the sugar off of them. So it's going to be a bit of a sugar party in the hive in a few minutes. So as you can see, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to let this actually sit for approximately 2 minutes. So just by letting it sit for 2 minutes, it just gives the sugar a chance to actually get the mites off of the bees. And then whilst we do that, we can actually just quickly inspect the hive itself, just to double check that everything's kind of going on in here, you know, the way it should be. So This frame before was empty. This is 7 days ago, and as you can see now, okay, it's empty on one side, but half of one of the sides has been filled out with honey, which is great. So it looks as if it's doing a little bit better since we've actually added the additional frame just to kind of help it out. Again, this looks good. It's got capped brood and honey on this side. Also checking for hive beetles, and again, we haven't seen really any hive beetles at all on this hive, which is fabulous. Yeah, looks great. Again, more capped brood. So I don't think we really need to kind of dig too much into this hive, because it looks as if everything's going nicely. You can see that, you know, the queen's laying. It's stronger than it was last week, and you know, I don't want to irritate them too much after just shaking them to pieces. So we're gonna put the frames back, and we're just going to deal with looking to see how many mites we have on the bees in here right now. Right, so the next part of this is we'll take the jar full of bees, and we're just going to gently shake the sugar into the plastic jar here. And this really doesn't hurt the bees. It seems a little bit kind of counterintuitive shaking bees in a jar, but they should be just fine. So Varroa mites, they also, what they look like, they're just tiny specks, and they're kind of like a brownish red color. So if there are 300 bees in half a cup, you basically are looking for 1 to 2% as being the maximum number of Varroa mites that should be in a hive. So anything over 2%, and that's when you have to start thinking about actually treating the bees with some of the products out there. So the problem with Varroa mites is they're actually not native to North America. They're actually from Asia, with Asian honeybees that were resistant to the Varroa mites, and they've actually slowly spread across the globe. And most Italian genetics, which is what we have here in America, are actually not able to defend themselves against them whatsoever. So that's the problem that we have, and the problem is that actually they can really cause hives and colonies to collapse, and it's actually one of the most one of the leading causes of hive collapse that we have here, which is why everybody is so kind of on it when it comes to testing them. I think, you know, any responsible beekeeper really does need to kind of test for them, and if not, you're really opening up yourself to to having your hives just completely disintegrate, really. So that's good. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put these bees back in the hive. Now we have sugary bees. Ghost bees, sugary bees. You know, and as you can see, this hive is pretty friendly. They really haven't kind of come out aggressively towards us. They've actually been really cool, so that's good, because I was actually a little bit nervous about shaking bees like that. So this hive we're very happy with, and what we're going to do is we're just going to replace the bores so they're not so stressed out. And then what the other bees will do is we'll spend time checking out the white bees and licking the sugar off of them. Great. So the next part is water, and mixing the water with the sugar to dilute it, and hopefully this will show us if we have any in here at all. Take it into the light. Right, so we are now looking for Varroa mites, and actually we do have some. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so it looks like 8. So they're the little kind of, I don't know if you can see, the little kind of reddish brownish dots. Those are definitely mites. You will get bits of other debris in the water, so you just have to kind of like watch out for that. But this is actually pretty good. It's less than 2%, so for right now I think we're actually pretty good. We don't have to treat this right now. You're supposed to test once a month, and you know, hopefully towards the autumn, if the mite count goes up, that's maybe when we'll actually do a treatment for them. But for right now, this hive is okay. It may actually be different though in the next 2 hives, so you have to check each and every hive. There's no way of doing it, kind of getting around it, and that's why the commercial guys use a liquid that actually kills the bees, because it's just a lot faster and a lot quicker than doing it this way. But you know, we will kind of want to keep ours alive, so that's why we're kind of doing it the long way.